What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Calculated Stories. This is Secret Sundays episode. My name is Skip Marazzi, and as usual, I'm dumb. So thank you for being here with me. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. We have a lot to go over today. So today we're doing a calculated story. This is a behind the scenes podcast for Cox and Space, and this is connected to Cox and Space in the fact that it is the way that we write the stories, the episodes for Cox and Space. Um, it is the story we're going to be working on is a continuation of one we've been working on called Quokka Quokka. Um, and it uses a story calculator called a George to run through it. Now, this is not the first one in the series, so you should check out the first one because the story's been building on itself, and I've been kind of explaining ideas of the story calculator. We're about to get into the crescendo of the scene where all these things sort of culminate into the grand event. And we'll read through the scene and you'll see how it goes. And then it's where, at the crescendo, where the polarity of the scene changes. Where in our case, it goes from being negative to ending positive because our show's going to end positively. It's set up that way so that they can affect one another in that way. Now, um, just for the sake of anyone who could be watching, I'm just going to share the entire screen. Although, you know, these are the things that that are happening currently. I want to show you a couple of things that happened. First of all, here's like that crescendo we were talking about right here. Don't be overwhelmed by all this graph. It's broken down one step at a time in the thing we're looking at. But more importantly, we're going to look at a switchboard. Remember, this is a show about the grumbler who is scowling on a surveillance photo. That's who you'd call like maybe our hero and our hero's journey. Is simply he's a guy taking an action, and it's influencing another thing. In this case, his scowl has influenced the surveillance photo. It's a very loose use of this, but it's fun how it's still working. So I'm letting it slide. There's another thing we'll point out in just a second. But the anti-hero, the reverse part of this story, which is inverted, is this Quokka who is smiling on a selfie. So it's the event of them smiling. It's actually set off the series of events, right? One of the things I did since I've been, shamefacedly talking about how I've been quite a sneak and trying to get away with all sorts of nonsense, is that we were writing this format in a script format and not a novel format. I should be using, as if I've mentioned a couple of times, a G5 or a G25 to get down to this more like fine size. So I'm not trying to write pages. And I've been trying to work it out by hand, but now I don't have to. So I'll get this line breakdown for Rebellious Boys, and it's going to show us how many lines per paragraph we're supposed to put in. So you'll see that this is a 17.5. This is your average size moment that we've been working on. So it's going to have a paragraph that has 5.5 lines, and then 3.5 lines, and then 4.5 lines. So it's nice and friendly and easy to use. So there's that. And then I don't have to count it. But then, as say, we go into like these bigger moments, as you see here, say if we're going to be doing like one of these big eights, here in the middle of 2 is 25.6. I don't want to have to try to work that out when we get there. So I'll just pull up the 25.6 and see that we're going to be doing a paragraph that has 8 lines, 4.8 lines, and 6.4 lines. And it'll be doing that thing that the George does too. Just there's one thing that we're missing, and that is because every level of every place that you go in the device in the story calculator is fractally related. So these 5, 3s, and 4s, these paragraphs should all have their own spin on them the same way as everything else does. So if you see like here, the episode has its spin on it. This is what keys it in. It's also the key scene is keyed into that, so it should be doing that. And then what we see is this big first moment that we're going to break down into 3 paragraphs. It should be keyed towards something, and then the first paragraph should be that, the second paragraph should be this, and the third paragraph should be this. Um, and so really like make sure that you hone it in. So we're gonna have some vagary with it. That's why being a rebellious boy is sometimes fun and sometimes not fun. It's a silly choice to make. Um, so, we'll take what it is. This is a writing example. You can always choose to use any part of the story calculator that you find useful to yourself. I think I mentioned, maybe I haven't. Um, but yeah, so for instance, like this negative, right? If you just wanted to track polarity, and you go, okay, cool. So I'm going to take 5 actions in, whatever that means to you, and then 5 actions out, and it's going to be, just the polarity at the middle. I've seen it done. That's where I got that device from. None of these other things were attached to it. And so it's a very cool place to do it. Like have everything add up to something makes a lot of sense. If you wanted to just use this little basics of human communications engine, the Bach engine, which is just like every moment explore either who you are, your relationships to each other, what you want and what you expect. Just like explore like those things, right? And that when you've gotten through a cycle, create a minor change. And then in like an average size scene, go through half a cycle and then create like another major change. So if you wanted to take just those things, either one or the other or both, I would recommend. You could use those things. You don't necessarily have to use the pacing. Same thing with the story. Like if you just wanted to make sure that you were constantly following the story and you as a writer or a team were following just your story, you could do that. These are the larger engines. I mean, if you weren't choosing to take these, I'm not thinking that you're probably going to choose to do these, but you could go through the universal story, and the drama, and creating peace and creating drama engines if you wanted to. These are obviously the simpler ones you could do. It's easy to hold on to these ones. Actually, in doing it on stage, I've only used the theme, the pacing, the Bach, and polarity, just to keep it simple. There's four little things you hold into your hand. It kind of like centers what it is. And the other things, those are nice. Those happen. It's good to know how to use those tools. I think the more that I practice and the more that other people practice using them, the more they'll be used to the cycle of things that happen. So anyway, here we go. Those really could be the drama and peace engines. Could really be in any order. So that's not as much of a process as long as you go through all of them just to give yourself variation. The universal life story, on the other hand, is one that grows. So I wouldn't suggest rearranging those things. Anyway, that was just in case anyone was thinking about that here or in the future. So um, here we go. The Let's give it a quick read over since we're going into the heart of the scene here. We're going to hit what we're called the mirror, where it's going to reverse polarity and reverse direction. Where basically everything that we write up to that point, we're going to write out in reverse, trying to like wrap those things up. So this is the story. Tony Stanza, a young man of medium build, paces in the shadows outside the Philadelphia Zoo, muttering to himself. It's not right that they keep them in there. A quokka belongs in the wild. I want to make sure they live free. The quiet parking lot doesn't respond as Tony scales the fence, but a camera high in the air above his head watches him with its unblinking eye. The young man drops into the zoo's undergrowth as security guards move toward his location with their flashlights on. Tony belly crawls through the dirt as he silently watches as silently as he can towards the marsupial exhibit. If they didn't want to get broken into, excuse me, they shouldn't have kidnapped the helpless animals and used them as slaves for entertainment. His words are cut short as a guard swings his flashlight directly onto Tony's spot. The young man freezes, unable to breathe, as the guard pushes through the brush to where Tony is. Damn. freezes. These are extra details. I was told it's a 4-4. So I'm going to trim it up just a little bit. Freezes as the guard pushes through the brush. Will give us a nice little lead. Now, I think we talked about why same thing with this. Could use a little bit more. Um, Tony crawls on his belly through the dirt. Yeah, I think that's more like 3 I'm looking for. So I think I mentioned why someone asked why does it need to be, why can't you just write? And to me personally, like the idea that this is like aesthetically pleasing also, you see how it's like a 5.5, a 3.3 approximately, that's probably a little short still, and then a 4.4. So it's like the size of these paragraphs, like they have some variation to them, where these lines break has some variation to them. And so, no, you don't need to do it, but I think like if you're really like a master of the craft, it's not only just the story itself, but the appearance of the text and the way that where the words fall. I'm not claiming mastery. What I'm saying is that paying attention to these things will lead to mastery, and that's one of the things that I hope to achieve by using this device. Just kind of paying attention to those things. Because having the limits that we can't write too much has definitely led to some really cool breakthroughs, as well as having moments where we have to write a lot, like these eights, lead to some really cool breakthroughs as well, like these longer ones here, right? Like an 8 and a 7.5, where you're like, I can't give it more, and then it's like, oh crap, there is a whole lot more. And then you run into these threes where you're like, I have this idea, and then you just have to like, you know, like break it down, break it down, break it down. So anyway, I believe that appearance is just so much more aesthetically pleasing. I'm not going to do that with all of these, but because I remembered off the top of my head, I saw it and I was thinking about it. Um, He crawls on his belly through the dirt. Okay, we read that. Tony leaps to his feet with his hands in the air, shouting, "Don't shoot! I'm unarmed." 2 guards grab him and drag him out of the brush. Tony's toes dragging in the dirt as he tries to break himself in any way possible. The guards, however, keep him aloft. How do you sleep at night knowing you have innocent, sentient animals trapped in cages for children's amusement? He yells. Tony yells loudly, "I hope you live alone and you die alone, childless." I think the opposite is this, is that the security guards or whatever bring their kids to the Quokka so they get to hang out. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen here. The guards say nothing, joined by another pair of guards who open the zoo's gates. The first pair throw Tony to the ground outside the gate. The Quokka's fine, they say, closing the gate. To the so this I say the word ground twice. I'm gonna edit that real quick. They're turning to the asphalt. To the to the parking lots asphalt, right? They say closing the gates. All right. So it's like this voice barks over the loudspeakers. Every man and woman on the security detail report to the main office at once. All the guards look grimly at each other before heading back to the front. A thin, dark-skinned black man walks with a Mongolian guard. Why don't y'all let him go? Didn't the captain say hold him? No, let who go? The other man asks. They file into a... I think I have more room. I'm going to use it. With a wink, they file into a small office. 24 men and women shoulder to shoulder before a small man with a bushy mustache who slaps a grainy black and white image onto his desk. "He's here. We have evidence that he breached the perimeter," the little man shouts. "Where is he? Why isn't he here in zip cuffs?" Or zip ties. Um, One of the guards, a large Filipino woman, pipes up. I don't know, boss. He just got away. He just slid through one very fast. All the other guards mutter in agreement. The boss, fuming, so the intruder activated the main gate themselves. The mustache man yells at them, and all the guards nod solemnly. A goateed Mexican says, I think it's a hacker, boss. .com. God, this text is so stupid. The little man stands, coming around his desk, and all the guards shrink to make room for him. He steps even closer to them, squishing them uncomfortably into each other as he leans in to whisper, If it happens again, none of you will be working here any longer. You are only my employees because our insurance company requires someone to stand between the public and our possibly rampaging animals. Since we already have your lives insured, it's better for us if you can't outrun anything. And I can find a ton of bodies to fill your uniforms. God damn, what a monologue. He's such a dick. You are dismissed. The guards don't look at each other, their faces grim as they file out of the office one by one. The mustache man returns to his desk as he pulls the Quokka security feed up on his computer, zooming in on the marsupial's adorable face. The Quokka waves up at the camera. Everyday families flock to you to take your pictures, and I take their money. He pulls up his social media and searches the term hashtag Philadelphia Zoo Quokka, smiling at the likes the zoo is getting. Tony stews in the darkness of his basement apartment, the light of his phone shining on his face as he scrolls the Philadelphia Zoo's social feed, making negative comments. Free the Quokka, he types. Andrew Deshay is a crooked bureaucrat who lines his pockets with taxpayers' money. He posts a meme of a crying Quokka. Jesus, I got silly, huh? Um, I mean, that moment's fun. So this one I'm told is actually 5.5, 3.3, 4.4. So I'm not even gonna measure it. I'm just gonna do that time frame, and we'll call it a day. It's easier that way. We got the calculation already. So what it should be. So um, we're I'm breaking some of the rules. This is really a demonstration story of how to use these prompts, and so I don't feel bad about that, and so you guys don't have to watch measuring happening, because hopefully by the time you're watching this for real, we actually have the software engaged to do that, so that it'll be measuring it for you. Here we are. So we hit the mirror. It's a minor change. Now, minor changes, I think I shared before, is when you take like a 45-degree turn in the story. Um, so that's one of the things we're going to want to think about in this moment is how this like changes something. Also, we should note that this is the last negative moment because as this is the culmination moments in the mirror, it's going to start going positive. So this is the last like big thing that would happen that changes things for the difference. Um, Maybe the minor changes, the thing we talked about, where we find out that the kids are actually they're like the kids of the security guards are getting to hang out with the Quokka, and that's why it's so much fun. Why they put up with this nonsense, and they know that Tony is right. Um, but okay, so it's about the Quokka smile. It's an advertised moment. It's about what this smile and what people want because of that smile. That's interesting. The mental effects, regaining strength, and facing the judgment of others. Okay, so this is about the Quokka's smile. Something I'm getting that's like tuning me in is there's this meme that's been going around where it's just like this video of like random AI Um, and it's like pictures of people's animals. It looks like that they're uploading to, and they're doing this little dance with this. It's based off this guy where he's like moving his fingers and smiling at the same time. The dance is super Asian. I don't know how to be more specific. I wish I could say if it's Chinese, Japanese, or whatever. But it's definitely, from where we are on the other side of the world and in that culture. The kid looks modern, like I don't think it's like anything like that, but like I just don't understand the finger dance. But anyway, there's been a lot of AI who are making pets do that, and so that's kind of maybe where we're going to be going with this. Okay, he posts a meme of a crying quokka. Um, so it's like as Tony scrolls further down his feed, he sees a picture. He sees a video. He sees a reel uh, of the quokka smiling at the camera as it does a little dance with its fingers. Like, so stupid. Like its fingers flicking around its face. Um, a playful smile. It's like a cheerful smile. A full tooth grin bursting. Uh, beaming. Yeah, they are beaming from its face. It's like the video was uh, AI, but still, it had 9 million likes. Like, so he's so fucking sad. That's hilarious. Okay. Um, the the young man does the only thing he the one thing he something about like how the social keyboard warrior, whatever that is. So the young man does the only um, the young man takes his strongest this is it, yeah, utilizes, here's the word, yeah, utilizes his strongest form of protest. Uses the strong, utilizes the available to him, and as he hits the the dislike button, Wow, that's not a word. All right. What we got? One, two, three, four, five. Okay, so we got, about this much space left about here, hereabouts. Um, I, after writing, disgusting. Um, so we have to do a 3.3 now, and again, we're breaking the rules. We're not following the fracking pattern, because it is like way ahead. In case you were wondering, you see how there's so many, there's so many paragraphs per moment, um, that even if we were following this one is this one is this one is this. So yeah, that climax of this scene is right here, um, in the eight, I think. So let's see, the real on the Quokka, smiling at the camera as this little dance. The fingers flick around his face, a full-toothed grin beaming from his face. The video was AI, but still, it had 9 million likes. The man utilizes the strongest form of protest available to him as he hits the dislike button after writing disgusting. Okay. Um, it's like immediately the comments started flooding in. Uh, what are you? An animal? Do you hate animals? Is it like that? An animal? On. What are you, an animal hater? It needs it. Yep. An animal hater? And even the comments started flooding in. What are you, an animal hater? Don't be jealous that you can't experience it for yourself. Uh, so do you guys see how where this is all coming from, right? Like, he is we're dealing with the smiling quokka, right? Like we saw him doing that, doing his dance. We see that he's dealing with the mental anguish of it, right? He's striking out mentally. Um, he's doing this in a place where he's like laying in his bed, so he's regaining strength, but he's also facing the judgment of others. So we have both those things like working with and against each other. Um, so this is where like kind of this inspiration is coming from. I want to get the wants in there a little bit more, and we definitely have to keep turning it negative more. This minor change is the other thing. So I was kind of thinking that we're ramping it up, kind of because people are responding to him, and then we want to do something that, really like pushes that up in the last four, the last paragraph. Um, so stealing other people's joy will never bring you your own, feel like they say. Right, so, bam, we're gonna do this. And then maybe, yeah, I think it should be shrink. And then maybe something like that. Okay, so there's that 3.3, although that one's probably a little long, although it doesn't super matter since it's just a fragment. It's taking a line anyway is what I'm getting at, but obviously following some of these rules for aesthetics is really important. It's not something ever to beat up somebody for not doing, right? If they're using a writing calculator and you were like berating them for not using a writing calculator because they were following inspiration, I don't know, stop. Don't do that. Just know that that's kind of, to me, that's sickening. These tools are there for exactly that. They're there to inspire and to let you grab creativity from the ether and pull it down into your story. Because stories want to be told, but they're hard to manage and hard to get to go through circuitry to do the whole device. So this is the story calculator is the way to do that. The song "Deep Inside of Me" is playing. And I feel like that somehow what these last four lines are. Um, it's like a classic 90s song. I think he's going to go the distance with regaining the strength because the hate's going to be. Um, yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. Because he's going to like all emo. Maybe that's the tone. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it's saying. He's like, uh, so he hadn't really wanted to stir the pot. Oh no, it's like this. He he didn't expect. He didn't. Dang it. Um, his eyes go wide, right? His eyes go wide as he sees the the comment count quickly racking up. Oh jeez, he hadn't wanted that. Okay, yeah, many of them pissed. Many of them in the same vein as above, right? Yeah, Tony wanted them to be mad. And Arnold, the bureaucrat, bureaucrat is still a tricky word, it turns out, even though I spelled it before. Aha, crap. Don't want to be mad at Arnold, the bureaucrat. Why were they all mad at him? Couldn't they see? Hey, baby. My cat has been sleeping directly under my desk, which she doesn't do in the summertime. It's now November. I guess it's the warmest spot. And so I happen to keep accidentally kicking her. So anyway, Tunnel scrolls a bit further down his feed and blah blah blah. Immediately comments start flooding in. His eyes go wide as he sees the comment count quickly racking up, many of them in the same vein as above. Tony wanted them to be mad at Arnold, the bureaucrat. Why were they all mad at him? Couldn't they see? Um, that he wasn't the the cute. All right. Hang on 1 second. His eyes go wide as he sees the comment count rising, quickly rising. Many of them in the same. Tony only wanted them to be mad. Tony had wanted them to be mad at Arnold, the bureaucrat. Why were they all mad at him? Couldn't they see that he, on their side, that he loved the Quokka? That he loved the Quokka as much as them, if not more? Um, hmm. So, that ends positive, not negative. He loved the Quokka. Um, let's change this so it's more dramatic and like ends negative. Um, it's like that he was willing to risk his life for the little guys, the little marsupials. Marsupilas. Um, so why were they all mad at him? Couldn't they see that he was on their side? He was the one willing willing to risk his life for the little marsupials? All right, so that's fun. I feel like that gets it's the whole moment, right? Like it's the thing from the beginning, right? This opening moment, like he's breaking into the thing. Now he's being faced off here in the scene that he can't understand why he's being ostracized. He's all alone in his apartment. He's doing this thing, and he thinks he's gonna be backed by it, but he's not. Um, so his life, his is the torment of his mental capacity. Okay, I like that. Cool. Let me just since this is an ample opportunity, just call out. This is a Cox and Space behind the scenes podcast. This is the Secret Sundays episode. It's a story calculator, and we're looking at calculated stories. This one's called Quokka Quokka. It's using a story calculator called a George to create the story. There's more information if you want to check that out. There's a book you can get at wigwags.us called Making the Moment. And that will kind of explain how George's work, how story calculators work. Also, you can check it out at reddit.com/r story calculators. And there's more explanations there about how all the pieces go together. Basically, like I did another breakdown there for people who are just interested. And you can always reach out. This is a behind the scenes podcast for Cox and Space. You can find out more about that at coxinspace.com. That's coxinspace.com. And there on that link, you can always connect to any of us by reaching out to us there. I think it's the contacts tab, and that will get you in contact with any one of us if you have any questions. Me specifically about story calculators. None of the other guys will probably be able to tell you that much. They'll probably point you back to me. Yeah, if you want to do that, you can set up sessions too at wigwags.us to go over your story if that's something you want to do. But on coxspace.com, you can connect with our Facebook and come on to any of these shows and talk about the interesting things that you want to talk about. We have Drawing with Jack, which is where we sit down with our illustrator and talk about a bunch of different topics. We have the SESH program that's happening on the weekends, Secret Sundays that's going on, and Flicking with Skip on Friday nights. So pretty much every night except for Monday and Wednesday, we've got something going on because Monday and Wednesday are our writing nights. We're up to episode 4 now, if you were wondering. So you can check all those things out. So you can connect there to Discord. That will get you access to where the shows happen. You can connect with our Facebook if you'd like to get onto the shows, like I was saying, and connect with our Patreon. And you can help get the show funded, continue it rolling in sooner. You get access to us depending on your access in the crew. So reach out and decide who you want to join the crew as. Do you want to be a cadet? Would you like to be a science officer? Would you like to be a bridge officer? Let us know and help get the show funded so we can see this animation come to you. We're going to get back to Quokka Quokka, and thank you for listening so far. Here we are going into the change up of the mirror. So one of the things you'll notice about the mirror is that it mirrors. You'll see that it has the smiling here as part of the story. It's this second to last part of the theme, and then it duplicates theirs. So this is a 5, right? Our themes are in 6 pieces, and so that would make sense, right? It's a grumbler who's scowling on a surveillance photo, and then we see a quokka who's smiling, and the effects of it smiling, right? So it kind of offsets the action of the first one here. Now these 5s are really just set up because they were supposed to be Fibonacci sequence, so that's kind of why a 5 exists. But then also in the way that we're doing this theme, it kind of works out really nicely. In a Brent. In a Brent, the first scene is a 3 because it's on a 13 and builds up. It goes 3 5 8 3 5 3 13, and so it builds up to that 13, and so it's much smaller, and so you only get, excuse me, you only get the first 3 actions of your theme, right? That's what the first portion is about, like, whatever your main character is, and then in the second one, since the second one's a 5, you can get the actions of the second part of your theme, and then 2 more, just like in this one. So it ends with it back again with a reminder of the actions of the first part of the story. It's a different way to go about it. There's definitely going to be some pros and cons people are going to say over the years about those things. We're definitely in this timeline moving more towards using the Georges more prevalently, mainly just because I haven't built, but at some point people will look at the Brent as well, and I'm sure there'll be different people who want to use them for different reasons, which don't ask me what those are. So I do not know what all the ramifications are of building this thing. I just knew that I needed it, and it wanted to exist, and so, you know, how could I be so cruel as to not let it exist, you know? Especially since I was at a point in my life where I was like, I would really like to know the answers to some of these questions. And in fact, I need to know. That's not gonna be good. I'm not gonna do it that way at all. Let's see this way. So that's why a story calculator exists, is it wanted to exist as much as I wanted to know about what it was. So whatever that means. Because this thing, I mean, you'll see in the book, and I'm not ashamed of this fact, as weird as it is. But it came almost fully formed to me, and it was been more of a me decoding it than me making it up. So, um, yeah. So here is the flip side where everything changes to the positive. It has the same structure as above. You see here we're gonna have that 4.4, 3 and a 5 as a reverse. So you know what, guys? I just realized I'm having a big sugar crash because I just ate a bunch of sugar about 90 minutes ago, and it just all got processed, I think. And I was like hype at the beginning of this episode to like do it, and now I'm like, blah. But you know what? The calculator helps us push through because this is really, I mean, this is about putting sand in the sandbox, right? We'll come back, take a look with a more fine-tooth comb, just do the best we can now, and we'll come back to it. Um, so the expectations. It's a minor turn towards the positive. Um, I think the minor turn for the last bit there was that he found out that he's not as supported as he thought he was going to be. Um, so, okay, remember this is mirrored, it's directly mirrored. So, what's happening here should be finalizing here. It's just the same way as any other time before. It's always, like fuck around and find out. So we're fucking around here. We're gonna find out the results here, but this is in an even bigger way. Tony scrolls further down his feed. He sees a reel on the Quokka smiling at the camera as it does a little dance with its fingers flickering at its face, a full tooth grin beaming from his face. Um, Here we go. The video was AI, but still had 9 million likes. The young man utilizes the strong protests he has available. As he hits the dislike button after writing disgusting. Immediately the comments start flooding in. What are you, an animal hater? Don't be jealous that you can't experience it for yourself. Stealing other people's joy will never be your own, they say. His eyes go wide as he sees the comment count rising, many of them in the same vein as above. Tony had wanted them to be mad at Arnold, the bureaucrat. Why were they all mad at him? Couldn't they see that he was on their side? That he was the only one willing to risk his life for the little marsupials? Oh no. Okay, guys, so that is the twist, is that you know, I thought maybe he was backed. The surprise is he's a fringe dude. One. Okay. So, we're looking at this one, so in response to that, Um, the Quokka is smiling. It's a minor change. It's about these expectations. We're doing still the same pattern, so step 4.4, 3.3, 5.5. It's positive. It's still mental. It's about him persevering and understanding that other people have complex lives. Um, hmm. So it's the opposite, right? So it's like um, all across the all across the um, what are they called? Oh, the Philadelphia Zoo Park. Zune, like gooning, but at the zoo. All across the Philadelphia Zoo Park. Security. Like security guards. Uh, down, down a vote. Um, like the stanzas. Comment. Posting their own. It wasn't. It wasn't company policy, but it just made good sense. More people, yeah. Who came to see the Quokka, the more they had a job. Security, security. Ah, nice. Security guards with job security. Um, they had no love for the mustached man, but they did love the Quokka. Yeah, yeah. Um, I think that's like they had no love for the mustache man, but they all deeply loved the Quokka. All right, so yeah, I like that. That's a nice. That's a nice four. This is a three. So we're responding to this three, but it's also about persevering, sundering expectations. I like this thing where it's like they're playing both sides of it. Like it was first like the boss looking, and then it switched over to the guy looking, and then it switches over to the security guards, and like how they're all on social media. and how it's like affecting our lives. That's something I wasn't really thinking about, but it's something that I do think about a lot. In that, you need to think about the words you're saying and the text that you're writing, because there's other people involved. At the other side of the conversation. I think that it's not just going nowhere. You can sometimes feel that way. Um, and maybe more and more as the internet's just becoming replaced by bots, it will be. And it's all just content farming, but I don't know. Anyway, all across the Philadelphia Zoo Park, security guards downvote the stanzas comment, posting their own. It wasn't company policy, but it just made good sense. The more people who came to see the Quokka, the more they had job security. They had no love for the mustache man, but they all deeply loved the Quokka. Okay, so, hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like this, like, why they're making these comments, like, um, don't be jealous because you can't experience for yourself. Animal hater, stealing people's joy. Yeah. Like, I think what's gonna happen is Tony is gonna get hired as a security guard, and he's gonna get to hang out with the Quokka all the time. Um, the Every day, the guards would make excuses to swing by the marsupial exhibit. Strolling slowly past the Quokka's cute Quokka's trying to glimpse its smiling face through the cloud, through the crowd. Uh, they all fought for night shift since it was quiet. Yeah, there you go. Feel pretty good about that because it's the security guards who are getting to experience the joy of hanging out with the Quokka. Um, they all would fight for night shift. They all fought for since it was quiet. Sharp-eyed viewers will note that I took a little break and have come back to it. So, again, a beautiful thing about the story calculator. Um, I had to get a little nap in before we had the next show that was coming on because I was sleepy. All right, so um, we have like I'm gonna give you between like half hour and an hour or something like that. Um, for this next one. If you guys prefer 90 minutes, comment below. But I'm kind of leaning towards 2 hour blocks because it kind of like gets you in the flow. So I just finished that 1 hour block, and and we're gonna start working on the second one. So all over the Philadelphia Zoo, security guards downvote the Stanson comment, posting their own. It wasn't company policy, but it just made good sense. The more people who came to see the quokka, the more they had job security, the better their job security. They had no love for the mustached man, but they all deeply loved the quokka. Oh, this isn't the difference between opposites, but um, every day the guards would make excuses to swing by the marsupial exhibit, strolling slowly past the quokka's enclosure while trying to catch a glimpse of its smiling face. Every day, each guard would make excuses to swing. Yeah, make excuses to swing by the marsupial exhibit. And slowly stroll past. Okay. Um, I'm sorry. I said okay because I heard the muse whisper where these words are supposed to go, and I was like, I heard you. Let me put it in place. Because it's going to take. This is marsupial exhibit and quokka's enclosure are the same idea, and so they're redundant. Swing by quokka's in. Plus, it's impersonal. I didn't like it as much, and I had it in there because I was trying to get length, of course. Um, but the beautiful thing about having a target goal is that you can just work around stuff like this. So I know it's fine to cut things. I know we need to add things. It's the same thing as like when you're working a recipe. You know what I mean? At first, when you're cooking, this has nothing to do with baking, so do not apply this logic to baking at all. But when you're cooking, you want to look at the recipe a lot. You want to check to make sure you have all the quantities right to make, your mom's recipe or whatever. Um, and then once you get good at cooking, you realize it's all about proportions and that you want to have a certain amount of flavor per amount of what the subject meal is. Um, and Sorry, guys, I was just, if you haven't watched those telepathy tapes, I suggest that you do because it's pretty mind-blowing. Like, you'll definitely shift your paradigm as far as how you view your world, yourself in your world. It's stuff that you know is true, and then it'll be exposed in a way that makes you also understand that you're not crazy for knowing it. Uh, so that's that thought. And that's the thing. I was thinking how it's interesting how there's a metaphor exists between all art forms, right? Like you can use the same metaphor to talk about painting, that you can talk about sculpting, you can talk about cooking, you can talk about like how the like mindset as you approach like working on an engine is the way a scientist would approach a problem. Like it's all creative thinking, right? And I was thinking how interesting that is that all those things can apply, and then it went back to this root that of course it does because they're all the same like kind of charge in the universe. You know what I mean? It's like a muse being manifested in a specific way. But so and that muse is being in all the different ways. And so it really I believe it's coming probably from the same base charge in the universe. So that anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that's where like anyway, this is the case. So for me, when in writing, I use the same method as like cooking, right? Like I look at the main body, what we're trying to get, these goals. I see how much space I have, which is the proportion, and then you start seasoning it with the things that you want to kind of fill out the flavor of it. And you're trying to make the flavor compared to the same flavor as the paragraph before, as the moment before, and all that sort of thing. So that's how you create one coherent story, is because it is the same way that you create like a coherent dish. Or if you guys are coming from any other place, a coherent song, a coherent painting, this shouldn't be in any stretch of the imagination a difficult thing to do if you have any kind of creativity, which all of us do. So that was sort of like all of you should be very capable of using a story calculator. My cat is a troublemaker because she's always curious. That's why people think I'm a troublemaker too, is because I'm always curious. I just need to know why. I don't care what the answer is. I just want to know what it is. Uh, it's the same thing I heard someone saying, like, I don't snoop into other people's lives because I care what their life is like. I just want to know what their life is like. You know, Geminis are just eternally curious rats. We in the Chinese zodiac we get into everything. Um, yeah, at the astrological sense, the twins, right? One looks, but the other one doesn't care. So those both can be true for Geminis. I know we're confusing to be around. Sorry, guys. Every day, each card would make excuses to swing by, right here. The Quokka's enclosure and slowly stroll past while trying to catch a glimpse of its smiling face through the crowd. Each of them fought for night shift. They all fought for night shift. So I really want him to say so they'd have time alone. You know what I mean? Let's see if it'll fit. Get time is too long. And that's like more like a 40%. See how Quokka is kind of hitting that 50. It's probably like 48 or something. In the previous sentence, sorry. Here, this is about 50% right there. And then this one here is, so it's just like one word over, it seems like. Let's see if everyone's going to be shorter. I don't think so. So they'd have for the alone time. I think that might work. Ooh. Everyone fought for night shift for the alone time. I don't know if you can hear the cats thundering around, but that's what they're doing right now. Let's see if maybe I could take a word out of somewhere else. Every day, each card. Because it's saying everyone fought for night shift. How about everyone hoped for night shift and the alone time? Because yeah, we're using the word for twice. I think that's the confusing part. And some alone time. Guys, I don't know if you see how like I obsess over the words and I want them to be like so it expresses what I want. So if I don't have a calculator, I'm not working off a calculator, what it's doing is that I could constantly keep like re-editing it. You know what I mean? And it can make you kind of crazy. Like when is enough, right? And so just as far as like logic loops inside your brain, the calculators are really good for that because yes, of course you can create a story and re-edit and re-edit and re-edit eternally because you could turn any story into any other story. But what's going to make you be like, okay, this story is done, like I finished it. And I will tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt, a calculator does that because it has very nice circles built into it. So you go through logic loops. You're like constantly going through logic loops. I call them engines because you just go through these processes. So like in a George, for instance, you start a story in one place and you go all the way through the universal story twice. because there's 24 steps that you'll go through. And so when you have like a satisfying story to yourself as a writer, but it's also created a part of a satisfying story to your readers too, because they're getting to go through these logic loops. I think that stories will be unsatisfying if the person is savvy, or if they read a lot of, if they once they got to the point where they've absorbed a lot of the type of content they enjoy, whether it's books or movies or TV, that magazines, nonfiction, that all those things, that when they've done that a lot, there's some people who do it well. They naturally create like there's a story is they when they say a story is a circle, I say that a story is a circle because it's a logic loop. You know what I mean? Like it starts in a place and you see logically how it reaches like a crescendo that's opposite the place that it was, and then it comes back again and then meets us back where we were. So you get a full like events, results, repercussions, and then the conclusion, right? As a circle. And so, and then the idea is that I started messing with the story calculator and seeing how you create the physics within the story like that intentionally. There's actually a bunch of little logic loops that are really good. If you look at the theme itself, right, that's two logic loops, or basically one with two sides. It has the first theme and then the anti-theme. They're the two forces that work against each other, so it keeps this like circle turning. And as you see, we go through it, right? Like we right now. We went through we're in the middle part of the second item in the logic loop. We're starting with this smiling, and so this is okay here because we're introducing it here, and it's broken. It leads us into the next one, which lets us do the next thing. And then same thing with the basics of human communication, the mental, physical, social spheres that it's going through, the drama and peace cycles that go through. Those are all just logic loops, so that people can see it coming. When I believe that this one goes through 3 cycles, if I remember correctly. It's either 3 or 4. I could look it up if anyone's interested. Comment below if you're interested in that, and I will follow up with that on you. I could just look it up in the George. But then the same thing with the scenes themselves. They're all like these logic loops. So what this using a story calculator does, make sure that you introduce you keep satisfying yourself and your reader in multiple ways. So they just like it just keeps hitting, keeps hitting. It just feels good, feels good, feels good, right? And it just keeps feeling good. So and that's the same thing you do when you're cooking too, right? Like a good dish has a base that you can recognize, like a bean dish or whatever, or literally whatever, but like a bean dish is an example. You want to have like one distinct flavor that stands out that complements that bean dish. And then you want to have like a little layer of complex flavor that's like resting right below that. It doesn't come up and like take over, right? But there's this thing that we can recognize. And if you want to use it in our example, our dish is the type of story that we're telling, right? It could be any type of story that we're telling, but then we need one distinct feature that stands out that like relates to whatever the dish is, and then also like highlights its qualities. So that's like your main character and like main idea. And then we have all these little seasonings that are supposed to like highlight and support the two flavors in between. Some of them going way out, some of them being hidden like within it. And our human brains, we just love that. We have a thing that we can recognize, we can have a thing that makes it special, so we can hold those two things, and we have this like whole like cornucopia of like little explosions of things that are all going well. And that's a satisfying thing. And so for me, the reason people be like, well, why don't you just write? Like, why do you have to use this story calculator? And I mean, it's covering 11 things, 11 logic loops. It's running through 11 logic loops per moment, right? And that's anywhere from 18 seconds on average in the size that we're using this for, up to about 45 seconds. So again, as we've been talking through this, like a little quarter of a page or 3/4 of a page, and in between that, and to just write that is just, and then remember all those things and where those moves are, and keep like adding it to the dish is something that hopefully I'll be able to write on that level, instinctually someday. But I will tell you that as a person who studied this and has been using it like really, really commonly for a good 5 years now, but has been, working on it for almost 20, it's much easier to have those things continue to be measured for me. And then, if I want to look ahead and see if it's going where I want it to, I want to like understand what the conclusion is going to look like without writing it yet. It's just it's really useful for that. So cool. That was probably me stalling is because I didn't want to start writing because I'm daunted. Didn't know if I was warmed up. I hope that all made sense and that you guys you understand why I feel it's necessary, even if you don't necessarily want to use it. But let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Okay, so they all make excuses because they really want to go see him. Um, persevering, saundering. So, hmm, hmm. I kind of want the major turn to be that the quokka is sentient and it can like talk and stuff. Um, and then also, like, since this is the minor change, um, oh, this is cool how it's directly related. Like, they're commenting that he's trying to shut the park down, and they're trying not to get the park shut down because they like working there because they hang out with the quagga. Okay, so I have to decide. I think I'm going to decide that the quagga was a he. Um, Also, I need to look up to see if there are quokkas at the Philadelphia Zoo, because it would be dumb to. I mean, maybe there was at one point. Sorry, people from Philadelphia. I was trying. Do they have a quokka at the Philadelphia Zoo? It looks like they they don't. Adelaide. Okay, Australia. That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. But let's see if we can't. It looks like no. It looks like no. This is all fiction. So, so you obviously the Philadelphia Zoo cannot sue me. Um, it looks like they may have never had them there at all. Excuse me. Oh, like under the moon. Yeah, under the expectations. Okay. Under the moonlight, a guard would stand alone, waiting patiently for hours. Did I look up that marsupials are? I think they're nocturnal. So, hang on. Okay, this persevering, like talking with. It's like it's what made the whole nonsense. Right? Like this is what we're talking about right here. Um, have? Yeah, that probably was probably AI. No, but actually, what if it wasn't? It's actually him doing a little dance. Hilarious. Um, Under the moonlight, a guard was stood alone, talking with the Quokka. It's what made the whole job worth it. The the tirades of the mustache man, of the little man. The grueling hours. The low pay. Just just to be here with I think this is my turn. The creature that everyone just called. No, don't do it, Jeff. So stupid. Yes, yes. We found out the Quokka's name. It's Jeff. Um, let's see. I'm gonna make it personal then. Let's see. I think I may have done it earlier too. Blah 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 blah. Um, better the job security. They had no love for the mustache man, but they all deeply love the Quokka. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 Where's the? I think I called it an it. I'll have to catch it because it's definitely at this point with his. Yeah. 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 Okay. I think this is the spot. Think otherwise, because I was kind of like overthinking it. I think, like I was like, I don't know, maybe I just want him to be like normal. Utilizes his strongest form of protest. Yeah, let's make that so it's not so wordy. His strongest form of protest. After hitting. The thumbs down button. The young man utilizes his strongest form of protest. He hits the thumbs down. He hits the down arrow. With a sneer. Writing one word. Disgusting. See it? I'm about it. He hits the app's down arrow with a sneer after writing one word. Yeah, 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 that's it. Disgusting. And it's like, so that's 4 and a 4, and that's a 3 and a 3, and it's a 5. I have a 5, but incomplete. So, I'm tired to the little man, the grueling hours of the pain, just to be here with the creature that everyone just called Jeff. He radiated peace. He put things into perspective. He reminded them that it would all make sense if they just gave it time. The fuck? The fuck, Jeff? Oh shit, that's a 4-4. That's not a 4-5. I've done these wrong. So let me see. Scoot this back. They had no love for the mustache man, but all deeply loved the Quokka. I think that should make the difference. The moonlighted guard would stand alone, talking with the Quokka. This would make the job worthwhile. Here we go. The tirades of the little man, the grueling hours, the low pay, just to be here with the creature. Just be here for a few. My cat's banging the cabinets, probably for no reason other than she wants to. Under the moonlight of a guard. Under the moonlight, a guard would stand alone. Talking with the Quokka. Doing the whole job worthwhile. The tirades of the little man. The grueling hours, the low pay, just to be here for a few minutes. Well, just to be here for a few minutes with a creature that everyone just called Jeff. He radiated peace. He put things in perspective. He reminded them that it would all make sense if they just gave it time. Okay. All right. It's an interesting interpretation for that Quokka. I don't remember playing him that way, but this is an interesting. It's an interesting thing. So, the truth of the matter is, guys, if you didn't know, there are an infinite number of stories that you could write. I could take all of these again, give them to someone else, these prompts, and another story could be written. I could go away and take all the text out and forget what I wrote, come back and write a different story using these prompts. So if you think that, you're too limited by the things that are here, I would say I would challenge you to take it on as a challenge yourself, just to see, give it a shot, because in my impression, what seems to happen for me, and the reason I keep using it is because when you're working with a level of infinity that is any possibility, it can be overwhelmingly huge. Like, what do you write when you have an infinite number of things that it could be, right? So I think that's where a lot of like writer's block can come from. But then, so what this does is it just creates like a little smaller portion of infinity. You still have an infinite number of options. The amount of variables of things when you combine all these things together of what they could be, huge, right? But what it does is it gives you a starting point. You're like, okay, within this circle, it needs to be about the Quokka, the one we're looking at right now. It needs to be about what the Quokka wants, or what people want around the Quokka. Right? It's them being evil and them having starry-eyed wondered in a social sphere. So, this is an interesting one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the queue real quick so that I will know how much space we're writing, because that's going to, of course, affect everything else too. It's a smaller one, as you can see. So let's go here. I should have had this up in the beginning, but remember, also this is going to be a mirror, so we're going to go check back on that one. This one's supposed to be 18 seconds or 10 and a half lines. So let's do the Rebellious Boys for 10 and a half. And this is just the forward part of it, so it's going to be a 3.3 to 2.6. I'm just going to do this so I don't keep forgetting. Yeah, I know, it's silly. You just literally have to look up, but my brain will keep doing it. There's a song that's coming through that Okay. It's a song I used to listen last year. That You're the Only Reason. I don't know why. It's a newer one. I couldn't even tell you that. So, okay, it's playing a vibe. I got you. That's kind of the vibe. Okay, it's about the quokka. Hmm. And that's the okay. I like the song for that reason. Whatever it is prompting this next moment. That's where the inspiration is coming from. Is this guy? Um, yeah, you know how cool it'd be if we could just share thoughts like straight up. Because then I could just be like, oh guys, you want to hear the song that I'm listening to in my brain? I mean, really, that would be where it's at. So we're looking at 3.3 and then a solid 2 and then a 2.6. Um, that's right. I need to pull up this next one. And then we're going to look back to see at the moment we're trying to mirror, which is raggedy, right? Because we weren't really following the code. We were trying to sort it out. All right, let's go take a look through. That's the mirror we're writing the one right after the mirror, which would be this one here. Mustache Man returns to his desk and pulls the Quokka security feed up on his computer, zooming in on the marsupial's adorable face. The Quokka waves up at the camera. Every day my family's flock to you to take your pictures and I take their money. He pulls up his social media and searches the term Philadelphia Zoo. Quokka smiling at the likes the zoo is getting. Tony stews in the darkness of his basement apartment, the light of his phone shining on his face as he scrolls the Philadelphia Zoo's social media feed, making negative comments. Free the Quokka, he types. Arnold Deshay is a crooked bureaucrat who lines his pockets with taxpayers' money. He posts a meme of a crying Quokka. Oh, jeez. So dramatic. Oh, Tony, you're doing the social justice thing so good. Um, so I think this podcast is the most fun because I'm forced to crack myself up in this space. So that's fun for me. Um, and my cats, of course, they always, they laugh too in the way that cats laugh, which is silently. Um, they're constantly dying laughing at my jokes because, you can hear it in their silent approval. The only other cat option is that if they don't dislike a joke, they puke. So this is a true cat fact. And if you want to, at any point, you can look at it. You can check it out for yourself too. So just tell your cat a joke. If it doesn't puke, then it was a good joke. So this is the headcanon that I live with, and I think it's good. I think it's good for everyone because cats love to laugh. They like always laughing. So okay, so we're imitating this. Also, I wanted to change this. The comments start flooding in. I want them to. His eyes goes wide as he sees the comment count rising. But it was this one here. Comments. Shabam. Because it wasn't just the one. He's doing it. Multiple comments. Okay, so I need to hear. Okay, so it's the mustache man on the desk making money off of them and how Tony is coming after them. Gotcha, okay. Um, you might not necessarily know it's the same person, so that's for us to figure out. Um, my cat's begging for something, but unfortunately, because she's laughing so much, I can't make out what she's trying to say. So who's being evil? I think that's gonna be the big. big one for us. Um, really? Huh. I inverted this thing. Why did I do that? I mean, okay. It has been pretty dramatic, so. Okay. Okay. But that means that the ending is going to be the happiest of endings. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I'll take it. That's interesting. I think this is the first time I've done that like that on purpose. Um, huh. Okay. Okay. It actually makes a lot of sense. Um, so go me for that. Although in this case it's weird. Because somebody's being evil that it's a good moment. It's also being paired with a Quokka who is our good character and the starry-eyed wonder. Um, okay. Um, so it was about how the mustache man's getting rich, how social media is doing him good, and how there's this thorn in his side tearing it up. Okay, okay, gotcha. Uh, I got it. I got it. All right. So, the mustache man smokes a cigar under the light of at his desk. The uh, light, the overhead light. Hey, no, no, no. It doesn't. It doesn't. He doesn't need this. It just more texture. I just wanted this very noir like thing, but we don't need to do that. Uh, as he talks on the phone, he's like, "This, what's his name? The stanzas." He's like, "This, the stanzas. This really chapping my ass." I think you said 333. The cat's like trying to signal to me that she's just so bored with life that she can't even handle herself. It's pretty dramatic. Guys, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm gonna see if I can't. I don't have anything that I can even give her. She really likes trash, but for some reason she hasn't been so much into the trash that I've been giving her recently. So I think I may have found it. Thank you. I wish that at this point I had a camera set up so you could see it, but you know, one step at a time. One thing always try to remind myself is that we're doing this so you can see what it is. I know that once people begin to see it, like you begin to see, you're gonna be like, holy crap, it works. I can write whatever I want to. It's so much fun. It like releases creativity. It helps me trap it and not let it go until I am like finished cycling through it. Um, really fantastic. Um, and when that happens, like the whole rest of it, you'll see my face for what it is, and hopefully more. We'll have some more like cat focus. I do promise, with the continued effort of everyone who is um, like pitching in for the wigwags, cocks in space. As this thing grows, there will be cat camps. You will get to see them more or less 24/7 if you want to. So we will figure out how to make that happen. If it's drones, like little drones around the house, constantly filming the cats, that's what life might have to be. So, just the important things is all. is all I'm saying. So, um, so like the voice, chapping my the voice on the other side of the end of the line cuts him off, and he's like, "You said it." So dumb. Because like I said, like it's totally a Muppets bit. Like it sounds like he's about to say some bad words, but he didn't, and now and we got away with it because the guy on the other side said it. So anyway, the voice on the line, yeah, the voice on the line cuts him off because I think I want. So I need you to take care of that little bump. And I need you to take care of that little hemorrhoid. Take care of that little hemorrhoid. Wow, there's a lot of letters in that word. Because the hemorrhage. Ooh, but it's a bleed. Gotcha. It's a small little one. What do you say is my little? Ooh. Now I see. Yeah, it's not gonna be that. I wonder. Too. No, too short actually. So I could actually put in a little like bum 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 of mine. Take care of that little hemorrhoid of mine. Yeah. So I got that 3.3. Got a 2 and a 2.6. Oh geez, guys, we're kind of coming up to the end of the show. So yeah, we're in like the last 15 minutes. That's awesome. Thank you for being here with me. I hope this has been helping out and the tangents have been useful. Uh, mm, don't like this. See all these words that's on, stacked right on top of each other. It's indicators sometimes that, especially if it's the same thing, that your sentences aren't healthy. The mustache man smokes a cigar at his desk. No, under a single lamp. The mustache man smokes a cigar, talk, talking on the phone. As he talks, the stanzas. It's really chapping the voice on the line. You take care of that little hemorrhoid. And because I think that's your third right there. It is indeed. What's up, buddy? All right. Oh, sorry. The what's up, buddy was definitely directed to the cat, who you guys cannot see. Yep. So cool, cool. Okay. For some reason, they're swarming right now, and by swarming, there's only two of them. But when they're both being affectionate, it does seem like a lot. Um, this is two lines, literally just two lines. So, hey, no, excuse me. That is my lap. That is where the keyboard goes. Don't attack the keyboard, you little monster. Hey, 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 would you stop? So I have an orange boy. He does not have the brain cell right now because he's not sure what my toes are. He's pretty sure they're a beast of some sort that's playing hide and seek. Um, Sorry for the long silence. Got absorbed in my weirdo cat being weird. So yeah, cat cams coming soon to mobile screens everywhere. Um, two lines. So we got the being evil. I really want him. Like I want to see that the mustache man might be like a total ass, but he also, I mean, like it's his place, right? That's what it seems like is that the zoo is somehow part his. So what if it's like, so it's like the mustache man hangs up, leaving the office and strolling through the pitch black. Zoo. Zoomed. Strolling easily down the paths of pitch black zoo. He turns right, headed to marsupials. Okay. Mustache man hangs up, leaving the office, and strolling down the zoos. One way to shorten it up, zoos, dark paths. It's interesting. I wasn't trying to make it like that he's like, he's easy in the darkness, but like he's one with the darkness, but that is exactly what happened. That's fun. But he said
So I want you to take care of that little hemorrhoid. Under a single lamp, the mustache man smokes cigars. He talks on the phone. The stanza's really chapping my... The voice on the line cuts him off. You sent it. So I want you to take care of that little hemorrhoid. The mustache man hangs up, leaving the office and strolling easily down the zoo's dark paths. He turns right, headed toward marsupials. Oh, what? Okay, so it seems like it's going bad, right? Because of all this dark stuff that's happening. But actually, I think he's gonna go and be like, "Hey, Jeff, it's a 2.6, so that's cool. Just ahead, he can see a guard finishing his rounds. Because we know he's not. We know he's definitely hanging out with Jeff. Um, but the little man checks his watch. 2 minutes late. Uh, Infraction. He says, before approaching the Quokka. He's like, "Hey, Jeff." So it needs to be a little bit longer because that's point 0.5, maybe the Quokka enclosure. So everybody hates this guy, but the Quokka still likes him. What? Like, hmm. He just ordered like a hit, as far as we can tell, and then we like it turns where it's like just ahead. You can see a guard finishing his rounds. The little man checks his watch. 2 minutes, an infraction. Okay, I do dig it. I think this next one's an 8, which we don't at the pace I've been riding, unfortunately, with the side talking and whatnot. I don't have that space to do for you. But I'm going to like just write it like right now. No, we're going to take a look at a couple of things just as far as like brainstorming goes, and that will be here. Gonna make sure that I remember to get it's the flip. Um, 28. 8, 5, 3, and 7. But actually, see, I just made that mistake again because it's the reverse. 7, 5.3, and 8. Should be like this. Okay, it's giving me such a dirty look for clicking my tongue like that. So, hey, come on, buddy. Come on, come on. I know. You have no brain cells right now, but those are my hands. They still connected to my body. Yep, they weren't never not connected to my body. They're not for you, buddy. Okay, so we got that 7, 5.3, and 8.8. Got that in place. Cool. We're gonna put this guy down. I know this is all just like cleanup, guys. So yeah, if you're like, hey, okay, lesson over, I'm done. I'm gonna tune out. It's a good time to tune out, I suppose. Get your bag packed and everything. Wait for the bell. Uh, I'm just trying to get some stuff set up so we don't have to do it at the beginning of the video. Next time, hey, would you cut it out, buddy? You're about to get thrown right off my lap, my guy. Like, seriously, and get your claws clipped. Um, dang, bruh. He can't even today. He's just all over the place. Cool. We do have that major change coming up at the end of this, of course. We just laid that out. It's gonna be fun because we're gonna go through this moment. Maybe there's gonna be a monologue where he like pours out his heart to the Quokka, and the major change is that we find out that the Quokka is actually real cool. Um, we'll see. This eight is quite a bit. You see, it's got all that to take care of there. Um, and then the final thing, this lovable rogue part, I love its whole tramp aspect. The final thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. I was just looking at the end of this. Um, okay, so it's the whole the guards are against the little man um, because he's a jerk. Um, and he really, really wants to catch that guy. Um, okay. So, cool, guys. Yeah, that's a good spot to stop. Thank you so much for tuning in to this behind the scenes podcast for Cox in Space. This has been Calculated Stories on a Secret Sundays episode. Thank you so much. You can always check out everything that we're doing at coxinspace.com. That's coxinspace.com. Check out the shows, check out our schedule. You're going to keep your eyes up, and we're going to have a page 3 being posted up there pretty soon. It should already be posted up there by the time you guys hear this in the recording. So you check that out. Follow us, get connected with our Discord so you can come hang out on the server with us. Get connected on our Patreon. You can help us get this show funded and get it to you sooner. Also, you can go hang out on our Facebook and just talk to the people who are working on the show there, and talk to Aaron Cos about the things you're interested in, and come talk to us on part of the shows about stuff you're interested in. If you want to pitch an idea and run it through the calculator on one of these shows, we could definitely talk about that too. So that's definitely a thing. We will talk to you all soon. Again, thank you. This is Skip Marazzi. I'm your host and friend for the evening. Good night.